Welcome to the Sirocco Sessions, where we connect with CRM experts and industry professionals. In this episode, I sit down with Hossam Al-Saeed, Head of Customer Experience for Nissan Middle East.
All right, Hossam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Nicholas.
So good to
Pleasure.
have you. So for everyone who's kind of watching, so Hossam Al-Saeed,
Yes.
General Manager Marketing for Nissan Middle East.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank
Good.
you.
We've met throughout the years in a few different constellations and a few different topics. But I wanted to ask you, if you can tell us, what's your background? How did you end up? Why the automotive industry? And how did you get here?
Okay, sure. So first of all, thank you, Nicholas, for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you here today and to talk about a very interesting topic that we'll catch up about. I'm Hossam Al-Saeed. I've been in the industry for the past around 15 to 16 years. Mainly, I'm born and raised in an automotive family, so that's how I came into this industry. Actually, my dad has worked in the region for around 34 years in automotive. So me as a kid, I didn't grow up on the usual standard kids' books. I had car brochures. So this is where I ended up. I grew up in Saudi, so a GCC kid as well. And it has been my passion forever. The good thing is, on top of my automotive passion, it was also marketing and technology. So everything in my life has been between the marketing world, the automotive world, and technology. And hence why I'm here in that as of today.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Dubai then? You've moved from Saudi?
For the past 6 years.
6 years.
For the past 6 years, yes. But before that, I was between Saudi and Dubai. Given that Dubai has been the hub and the main office for Nissan. However, actually me joining Nissan, I joined as one of the very, very first employees for the NKSA or the Nissan Saudi Arabia office, which was one of the very, very first, if not the first automotive brand to open an office in Saudi Arabia to represent the brand, not only through a dealership. So yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Exciting.
It's good that you mentioned dealerships because I think it's an interesting kind of dynamic in the automotive industry where you have the brands and then you have the dealerships and the importers. Can you talk a little bit about that, how that works? And also, I guess, as a marketer, what challenges that might bring compared to if you were, so to speak, selling the cars directly to the end customer?
Very, very, very interesting. So I think that people who've been in this region are used to what they think it's a dealership model. In reality, it's not just a dealership model. If you look at the different parts of the world and how the business is managed, it's actually totally different between Europe to USA to the GCC, the Gulf region, all the way to Australia and so on and so forth, or Oceania, or even where we are in Japan. The model differentiates. As you rightfully said, in some brands, they go direct sales, so from the manufacturer all the way to the end consumer, especially on EV-led products or brands, this is where they can easier directly sell to the consumers. The business model that we are running as Nissan in the region is mainly us and partners that we are very proud of because most of them have been with us for more than 40, 50, 60, 70 years.
Oh, wow.
So we have a very strong partnership with our partners in the region. And the relationship is for us to ensure that there is, as a brand, all the standardization, the governance, the support that's required to ensure that they are the market leaders in wherever they are. While in some other markets, as I said, so the direct model is happening on some brands, but for some other markets, they work differently, where they have a dealer-distributor model, where you could have thousands of different dealers or independent retailers that does not exclusively sell your product. And that has its own perks, but Gulf region has been known with partners that has their reputation in the industry for many years. And I think that it's a working formula. Consumers in the region are proud to not only deal with brands, but also the partners. And this is where we ensure that we strengthen the relationship with such partners to ensure that the best possible customer experience is offered to the customers.
Okay, perfect. Thank you,
Thank you
for that kind of rundown. So I'm guessing as well, like, because you work with branding, PR, relationship building and nurturing with the Nissan end customers. So this sounds like it's a built-in challenge here with the data flowing and picking up on you run a campaign, but then you're not at the end, so to speak, or the furthest part of the journey before they come back to you as now a Nissan customer. So how does that work, or how do you try to manage that?
Yeah, so again, it depends between, and the differs between a brand and another. And I've worked with around 3-4 different brands in my career. Some brands are really focused and they know what they want to deliver in the region, and they join forces with their partners and they do that, which is more or less what we are doing as Nissan. While some other brands give more independence, which I'm not saying it's wrong. It could be very good for the brand, but they just give the independence. You go, the guidelines, just do whatever you want. While we believe in certain things regarding the consistency toward the customers. If you're in Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi, UAE, you need to see something that's more consistent. And this is where the model comes in. So in terms of the relationship and how the data flows and so on and so forth, actually, it's one of the things that we've worked on actually 7 years ago. We started focusing on 7 years ago because the whole landscape of advertisement have changed a lot. If you remember, like 10 years ago, there was still a big presence for print, for other platforms where it's not easy for you to track. But with the rise of digital, we've seen that, and we've delivered on something that we call precision marketing, where you ensure that you deliver the right message to the right audience at the right time, through the right channel, with the right investment as well, to ensure that nor you're under investing or you're over investing. So accordingly, what we ensured is we build the right tech stack from the beginning. We give the understanding to our partners as well, so that they understand why are we talking this amount of data, and it can go super granular. And you're a data guy, you know that, right?
Yeah.
So I personally believe that we've been on the right track, and that's translated into the overall results, and not only in market share or volumes, which we are very proud of, but also in repetition, which is what we really care about, the brand statement. So it starts with a vision, strategy. Where are we heading? Why we are heading there, and what we want to achieve. And then from there, it trickles down all the way to who's taking the data from the moment you walk into the showroom, or the moment you've seen an ad online, all the way, not till you buy a car. And that's what I hate. It's not till you buy a car. It's actually till you come back and you get another car, or you come back for a service, or even for a cup of coffee that you would like to take next to your favorite car at the showroom that you're aspiring to buy one day, let's say a Z or whatsoever, out of aspiration. So that whole relationship is what is very important. And what's also important is the mutual understanding between the OEM and the partner in the market.
I guess it must be interesting as well in this region. I mean, I've been here about 17 years now, so a while. Because there's, I don't know what the latest statistics are, but 180 different nationalities and different cultures. And so if you sell something, a product, a car in Sweden, for example, it's more, people are more similar to each other than here. There's all sorts of, 100%. Different type of culture, different messaging that works, doesn't work, Some need louder marketing, some want subtle, clever. Like it must be a challenge to continue to try to see what works and what does it mean if we say it works, right? How do you measure? And when you measured it, okay, like you said, that the real, I guess, like thing to be proud of is when I come back and, hi, now it's time for my next Nissan, my next car.
Yes.
Then you're like, okay, good. Then we've kept you nurtured and we've kept you online
100%.
all the way through. And then when you come back, so it's like I guess that's the real proof in a way that you're
I have something that I always say whenever I get to onboard a new team member or speak with a peer in the industry, that we in the automotive industry we have a very important job to do with our customers, which is to make them understand and feel, not understand, they understand because it's their hard-earned money. They need to feel that we don't care about just selling you a product. Because if you look at it, automotive or cars, when you're buying a vehicle, it's just most probably it's your second biggest investment in life after your home. And your home will usually could depreciate at a certain point, but cars are cars. Whichever car it is, usually it would depreciate by time, which is natural. So what we want to ensure is that you understand that we care about your hard-earned money, and we want to ensure that you have not only the seamless experience that most probably every marketeer or a customer experience professional would say. When we say seamless, it should also have a factor of joy, happiness. And I always tell the team is ensure that you give more reasons for the customers that they fall in love. Because the purchase cannot be based only on logic. It has to be based on logic and emotions as well. So connecting this all in sense of data, which doesn't sound rational. How could I connect data to emotions? Actually, you could. So through using the right, not only algorithms, but data inputs, you could start building patterns. You could understand how long does it take a customer to show interest in a product by the time spent on the website. Putting that behind a customer record, or what we call a single customer view, will ensure that by time you have better scoring, so that the moment that Nicholas or Hossam, who are from two different continents with two different ways of growing up, would end up buying. Because on top of that, we've managed to actually do the right audience segmentation, where we identify what is the difference between Nicholas and Hossam, and eventually give them what they want. And that's very key to understand with the data, that it's not only that he clicked on this, it means that he want to buy. It's not only that. It could be something as simple as a social share button, or a like on a post, or anything. But what's also important, and I don't know if we're going to talk about it or not today, but it's, do not make it creepy. You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I understand that there is laws and regulations that's coming in place, which we really respect and we follow. But also it's our role as marketeers to ensure that whatever we are working on is for your convenience, not for the feeling of, oh my God, they're tracking me, you know that?
Yeah, of course.
And that's the worst thing. You need to make it subtle, not pushy. And if you're having a product that you're very confident with and you're working with and you're confident, you will not be pushy. You will be more of that friend that comes along the way that you feel, oh, okay, I trust that person.
No, that makes sense. And I think the regulations coming in, the kind of GDPR-like things that are coming,
Yep.
I think coming from a European background and having lived in Europe at least for 30 years before I moved here, so more than half my life, I guess. When my experience having been in the Middle East for a while is that some companies and some brands, they spam you on every channel they can. As soon as you appear somewhere, you get spam. And I would get products that are not relevant to me at all. Because the way it works, I think, is that I will trust you with all my data if you only serve me relevant things at the relevant time, and the things that should know that I want, or that you can maybe tease me with and go, oh yeah, I'd like that.
True.
Then you can have all my data.
Yes.
Like I trust you with it. That's I guess the point you want to get to. And on the customer data, I also want to ask you, when you have a very happy customer, so to speak, like a good segment, or you've done well, how often do you kind of challenge that and go, oh, well, okay, this did well 3 years ago with Nicholas, but is that still true now? Would he respond to the same? How do you play around with that?
I love the question. So first of all, we need to also understand, maybe we'll take a step back. We need to understand that maybe even if I'm serving you the things that's relevant to you, maybe it's not of your interest. Yeah. Maybe at a certain point, I cannot care less. I'm busy with stuff. I'm at a financial situation. These are things that we will not know. And going back to the empathy for it. So what I'm saying is we need to understand at the same time that maybe it's not the right time to approach the customer. So we need signals. We need something that shows that there is an interest. And that needs to be, of course, as you said, with consents, with the whole thing. But then how do I ensure that the customer is engaged with me all through the journey is a very important point. So as an example, we don't only send marketing in a sense of, by the way, look at my new car, or this is the feature. We have a concept that we have on CRM that we call the heartbeat. Heartbeat is where you make the customer's heart beat. In a sense that you send communication that is purely on a brand level. We won Formula E as an example. It's a real case. We just won Formula E race in Saudi, Jeddah, last week. We're very happy about that. We're very proud. We send this to the customers and we see the opens. We understand who opened it as an email or who opened it as a WhatsApp. And accordingly, if there is an interest, and we've seen that there is actually a click after that, this customer is still engaged with the brand. So accordingly, we could start looking into how we take this customer into the lower funnel so that we ensure that we cater to the customer if there is another intention or interest that has been shown by the customer. And that's what very, very important for brands to do, in my personal view. The other thing is last year we also have launched a campaign for brand where we said we defy ordinary. We want customers to believe that, and it's something that me personally I'm a believer of. If you associate to a brand, you usually have a subconscious association to it that you want to deliver. So when I'm driving a Nissan or where I'm wearing a certain brand of a watch or wearing a certain clothes and the brand is shown, there is a subliminal message that I'm passing about myself. And we want to ensure that the customers, when they engage with us, they engage based on that. Not only because the product has 2-liter turbo engine that is producing God only knows how many horsepower. Yeah, we can do that very well. We have been there for more than 90 years. Sure. So it's not about that. That we know that we are leading on. We're very, very good at. But what's very important as well is what does the brand or Nissan, in my case, represent to Nicholas when he's driving Nissan.
And do you think it's true that people, because I remember growing up and you more or less have families that they associate so strongly to a car brand. You know, they would be a Volvo driver for forever or a Nissan owner. That's it. They don't look anywhere else. When there's a new model in their line of cars, yeah, they'll go for that, but they wouldn't switch. Do you think that's changed?
100%
there's so many brands
changing.
now,
Exactly, well. 100% it's changing. The whole industry is changing. Actually, the change is not even on the brand level, but you can look at it. There is a change in the pattern of usage. Am I buying or leasing or having a short-term rental? Or am I taking the car for a certain day through the week? Am I subscribing? There is all of those changes, which is natural, and we understand. So loyalty is there. But at the same time, with the new generations, et cetera, we as brands, we need to adapt as well. So if the new generation have seen, as an example, me in my case, I've seen my dad working for a certain automotive brand, I'm loyal to it, but my need is not to own a car. I need to use a car at a certain point of time through the week. If I open an app to rent a car for a day, my preference, first of all, most probably would be based on a price because I need it to take me from point A to point B. But most of the people, they do not only look at it from point A to point B because it would have made the world much more boring than where we are as of today, boxes on wheels. Thank God we are not there, and I'm very happy being an automotive guy that we're not heading there. But what's important is that if I open an app and here I'm taking you to an extreme, a guy who doesn't want to own a car, or maybe cannot afford, and I see 3 cars that's very similarly priced, but there is a little bit of a premium for the brand that I'm loyal to because of my history, I would certainly go for it. And it's a human nature, right? You grew up used to drink a certain type of drinks, made of water, soda, or whatsoever. You will certainly associate to it. Regardless, this, I always think of it this way, the bad chocolate. That old brand of chocolate that you know that there is tons that's much better, but you see it, you feel nostalgic. The good thing is those brands that has been there for a long time, they're certainly not bad chocolates. They've evolved. They ensure they're up to speed. And whoever is coming, they're ready for challenging. And the proof is that they are still there for 90 years or more. It's not only Nissan. We've seen it with all other brands that has established themselves and been there for many, many years.
Sure, no, that makes sense. On the technology part, because obviously we all work in technology and have done for a long time. So how has that changed what you're able to do? Because 10 years ago, you can collect some data, but to now have like actionable, live, almost at least data, like how has that changed what you have to? I mean, in one way, it's easier within inverted commas, but also the challenge is now to deliver, technology that, because we are used to the big, Amazons, Airbnb, that's the level that I'm used to. So as soon as someone is too far below that bar, there's a struggle. So I know you're a big Salesforce house and have been for a while. Sure. So what do you do? How does CRM fit? Because obviously we're a CRM partner, so we think CRM is everything. But CRM isn't actually everything in terms of technology. It fits in a much larger ecosystem. So how do you, and what of that do you manage? I know you manage with your team the website and the digital channels. So how does that?
It's a very, very good one. I'll bring a very funny story. At the beginning of my career, I started with digital, but I went all through different marketing and maybe marketing and sales aspects. The fun story is at the beginning, I was sitting there in front of a computer, let's say 2009 or so, and people were like, "This is how you get paid? The company pays you to be on Facebook and YouTube? How is that even payable? This is just for fun." And I always believed that this is the future, and we are living the future now, right? And not because of me, but because I believed. When you believe in something, right? And back in the days, it was you're lucky if you're even using Excels to manage everything, right? Or spreadsheets in whichever format. Nowadays, as we evolved, there is data points that went and shrinked, like the third-party data, and there is some brands that were smart enough to grow their first-party data where the CRM comes in. Because the CRM, in my personal belief, it's where you humanize, you make a brand as a human. It's where you engage with the customer on a one-on-one conversation, which is what you don't get if you see an ad on TV, if you see an ad on YouTube, which is a digital platform. So CRM is your chance to make a human alive, a brand alive. So where we talk about Salesforce as an example, or partners like yourself and Sirocco and so on, this is where we join forces to ensure that you get the best and the maximum out of the first-party data, not only because third-party data is dying, but because this is where you hit what we call a hyper-personalized communication. When we think about hyper-personalized communication, it's where me as Hossam, I don't want to receive an email that just says, "Hi Hossam," and it's a copy-paste of what everyone else has got, right? But if I get an email that shows the car that I was interested in the same color, with the nearest branch to my location, with an interesting offer because I've shown my interest in finance, and asking me with a click of a button to schedule a home test drive. This is where I would feel that, you know what, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know? And this is where partners come in handy. This is where you work, and we globally as Nissan, we have partnership with the Salesforce as an example. This is where we work on building the ecosystem, as you said. And partners like yourself or our CRM agencies or come in with their own experiences to ensure that we deliver those strategies. Because if you manage to deliver those strategies, automatically it reflects in brand value. Not only in monetary, and I really want to focus on this. Recently, when in one of our launches 3 days ago, our vice president was very proud to say that we're doubling on our digital sales year over year, and that's very good. But also on top of that, what we are really focused on, and I always say it will come naturally. The brand value goes up, sales will go up. Simple. Do not just chase sales. You need to ensure that there is a reason for the people to end up. So here, I think the ecosystem being built together, putting the right data together, the right algorithms, the right reasons, because I know the brief is exactly what I want to deliver: sales, service, customer satisfaction, which is another point. The voice of customer. Through CRM, this is where you can speak to the customer. How was your last visit? Did you enjoy it? And you don't do it boring. As an example, I have this dream that you walk into a showroom, you are recognized as Nicholas, not through your face, maybe it's so much of intrusion, but you give your greeter your mobile number. And I look into the system and I see that you are a cappuccino person. You've taken cappuccino last time. I don't need to serve you automatically the cappuccino. Maybe you don't want. But I would ask you, Nicholas, would you like to have the same cappuccino you had last time? That would put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Because you've taken care all the way to the level of my cappuccino, And this is data. It's not the cup of coffee.
No, exactly.
It's the data that I've managed to put in the system and ensured that I use it in the right manner and in the right fashion. And when you give me the feedback, I take it, I process it, and I enhance my services and products based on that.
No, I think that's a good point. I think it's important to also that, because as a brand, you will have so many touch points with people, not to kind of knee-jerk automatically send them something every time you see me, so to speak. Every time I have a touch point, I don't need an email or thank you for, like, just to go, okay, we just follow you in your journey with the brand, and we track nicely, like if you let us, like what you're doing with us,
for sure,
so that we can serve you better. Like, I think that's also something, it's a lesson for many brands to not just because you have a tool that can do something doesn't mean you need to do it every time there's an interaction. And now, I mean, with AI, everyone's talking about AI. I mean, I went to an event called AI Everything, which is a great and a very good and a very bad name. But you kind of what is it? But it was good. But how does AI? I know you and the team have been working on AI and thinking about it for a while. So now with generative AI, which in one way some people talk about it like the AI of yesterday. Yeah, that's fine. But I've not really seen that used as much as I maybe would have thought yet. And then the agentic AI is like the next kind of evolution. But I think it's for campaigns and driving messaging. Do you use generative AIs today?
Yeah, we do to a certain extent. Honestly speaking, I think that when we say AI, you could just say as an example, it's as big as technology. You cannot just summarize it in generative AI. No. I cannot use, because there is internal uses. I can use it for enhancing my presentations, summarizing it, or taking transcripts of calls, or translating a meeting with another colleague who doesn't even speak English, right? But also there is external uses for consumers, as you rightfully said, to help me to create a better visual. Maybe not to create a full-on visual, but to enhance the visual. Or to create an assistant that I can call, book a service, do basic stuff if I want, or advanced stuff like diagnosis. So I personally don't like to talk about AI as in the ultimate goal. The good thing about AI, that doesn't discount at all. I'm a big believer in AI. Actually, I use it daily in my work. And we started with our customers. We just launched a patroller for the all-new Nissan Patrol. We offered an AI chatbot that's called the Patroller. But we've been very clear to our customers that it's limited as of now to, at launch phase, it was for 3 use cases. And we told them, please ask it within those 3 use cases. We could just open it up for lots of things. I could feed it with information. But there is also still limitations on hallucinations. There is still limitations on how you guardrail it and how it learns. So you remember when we said that we want to ensure that we give them more reasons to fall in love? It could do the opposite. It could make me hate the brand.
Yeah.
So I love to take the approach of crawl and then walk and then run.
Sure.
So on AI, that's where we are. And before we get into AI, I think that one of the key things that has to be done is make sure first that you have the right data. contained in the right platform, governed in the right way. So if you have had data inputs that's not strong and solid, oh my God, if you go into the AI world, you would hate the day that you've taken such a decision. Mm-hmm. So I think that the most important thing is make sure you have the right foundation. And by saying making sure, don't take a look only. Ensure. Look at the results. Look at, do ensure that you have the right data scientists and analysts to whether those who are giving you the findings as in scientists or those who are looking at the data and ensuring that you have the right data. Do data gap analysis. I don't hear data gap analysis as an example, which shocks me. Mm-hmm. How are you going to go into the world of AI and making sure I want to make sure my customer gets predictive maintenance? Okay, you can. But do you know the gap that you have in the data? You need to make sure that you have all of this in one place ready, and then only start catering to those high hopes. And it's not only about, because again, at the end, unfortunately, business, some business people, they just want the flashy words. It's trendy. Good. Mm-hmm. It could be trendy and we use it, but we need to use it in the best possible way for our customers so that when they talk about it, they brag. You know what? We have it live as an example in Nissan Canada. You can call our call center and it's actually an AI agent and it will answer you. It will tell you your last service was done as XYZ. It shows that your engine has a check engine or whatsoever, or the low tire pressure. Shall I call roadside assistance for you? You can do that. But make sure you have the right base before you take any action. That's my 2 cents. I could be right or wrong, but
no. I think it's I think it's some people or some brands or some organizations might think that look, we'll just put AI in and that will solve our problem, right? It would actually make them worse if you don't have data in a nice structured way. Yeah. Although yes, AI can now help with unstructured, but when the AI people, so to speak about unstructured data, they don't really mean unstructured data. They just mean it's not in the same container. We have to pick it in different places, which is not really what we think. I think it's also a risk sometimes for people who work in technology that we think, yeah, but that's simple stuff. But to someone who doesn't, they will be so impressed by if you do the simple things right, with AI can help there, people will be so impressed. Yeah. And I guess now with the cars being so modern, with your connected cars and now, would also maybe guess that helps you tie the loop because the car can tell you, right? Yeah, I've been driving this much. Okay, so then you have another layer of segmentation, I guess, that the car will tell you that the customer won't explicitly say, but 100%. You will know it. So how does that play into your
connected cars? It's a world that's mind-blowing. Like we started with that journey in 2022 and the level of information, because it doesn't be only data. We turn the data into information. And the beauty of it is wonderful because you reduce the possible frustrations that could happen. You have more joyful moments with the customers. And I'll give you 2 examples. I'll look at them at the contrary. May God forbid someone just had an accident. And automatically the police gets called through those systems that we have in the car. It would automatically tell the police if you did not respond, because automatically if the airbag is on, it will call the police. And this is all through government relationships that we as manufacturers work with. To call the police and automatically, even if there is no phone in the car, there is a communication direct with the police. It will tell them this car has been involved in an accident. This is the exact GPS location of the vehicle. If the police officer speaks to you and you're not answering, it means that there is something that is serious. It would tell exactly which airbag is on, the direction of the car to understand if the car is flipped, if the car is not flipped, if the car is on the right direction of the road or not, if the seatbelt is on or off. Lots of information and data that can be easily translated into information given to the authorities who will come directly to help you. Think of that versus someone who's not driving a connected vehicle that does not share any information, went on a road trip from Dubai or Abu Dhabi to Riyadh, and in the middle of the empty quarter, or God only knows the nowhere, the car breaks down. No communication, nothing. He opens the phone, barely a signal, cannot send an roadside assistance, and he doesn't even know what's wrong with the car. That's a frustration point. So the amount of things that you could do with connected car services is insanely good. And it's insanely useful, because eventually we want to reach a level of zero fatalities in mobility industry. And I think that this is something that we've been adopting for a long time at Nissan, but as well other OEMs, especially those who have heritage like us, they really believe in that. So all of those data points not only help the customer, but helps us to develop better vehicles, because we look into the patterns of the vehicle. We ensure that whatever we are producing in the future caters to that usage, be more reliable. We are very well known for the Japanese quality, reliability, and durability. So accordingly, we ensure that we keep on developing that through this data point. And think of it this way. How many data points do you get from a car per second? Where are you going to store all of this? So all of that requires the right infrastructure, the right analysis in the back end. Again, the right partners to work with to ensure that you put it to the best use for the consumer's benefit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very interesting. Because cars, I'm amazed now sometimes. If you sit in a brand new car, the amount of things it has and the amount of things it can do, like it's very impressive. What's your vision for this year? Do you have I guess this is kind of start of the year, so we've often have the vision for 2025 is something. So what's immediately in your top of your mind for this year? What do you want to achieve that you've been, not been able to, or not been able to focus on, or technologically you haven't been able to do? What's your...
I could surprise you with my answer. No, for sure. Unfortunately, there's things, of course, I cannot just disclose. But in reality, the good thing about us as Nissan in the Middle East is we have a very clear vision that is set on a midterm plan, and on a functional level, on customer experience. We have a strategy that we have adopted, especially post-COVID, and I'll come to that, that is very clear. We want to deliver a seamless customer experience to give customers more reasons to fall in love in Nissan. You see, I know it by heart. Right?
Good.
And I see the slide in front of me right now. Why? Because if you don't believe in it, it won't be easy for you or the teams to deliver it. Right? And with that, this is where we came with Defy Ordinary, because we sat as a whole entity and a regional office. And what do we want to do? We found out that we want to defy ordinary. We don't want to just launch car. We don't want to just make a marketing campaign and spend X amount of money and make people speak about the car. No, we want to defy ordinary. And I'll give you examples on customer experiences, which includes as well data and CRM. We are one of very, very few brands in the region that is transparently offering service prices across the whole region to ensure that the customer feel transparency. So there is lots of, or we do campaigns as an example on about intellectual property and fake spare parts. You barely get that. But what you need to do is you need to ensure that the customer feel the trust. So what we've been working on as a company is to ensure that we have this trust. So if you ask me this year, what do you want to do? This year is actually the year that we should be concluding what we've planned for the past 5 years.
Okay.
And I'm happy and proud to say that we've already achieved. So it's the year where we want to go the extra mile and deliver things that keep on. I'll give you another example with the launch of one of our most recent cars. Who launches a car in parts? You launch a car one piece, right?
Yeah.
We launched the all new petroleum parts because we defy ordinary, and it created the variability, right? So, and that, by the way, this was data. So you think of it as a creative, but it was data, because you work on the data of people who engage. It ends up with sales, as I said. So that's on that. Going back to the COVID point and why the strategy was actually set clearly after COVID on that specific front, even though I said we started from 2017. Unfortunately, with COVID, there was what I call the digital rush. The gold rush?
Yeah.
There is the digital rush, where you have every CMO in the world. Guys, digitalize everything. I want every touch point digital. Okay, good. Does the customer need it? Did you ask the customer? And then there was lots of things that's coming into our ecosystems, not only us, but all other brands, automotive and non-automotive, that's useless. You cannot just use it. So when we sat with the strategy, we rationalized, we ensured that we offer what the customers need through the journey. And this is where we worked with the CRM to ensure that it comes in handy and useful. That eventually it's not just spreading things. I want the customer to, they're buying a car. You have to test drive it. You have to go in, smell it, touch it, open the screen, the sunroof, blah, blah, blah. You need to go through the experience. So even if I'm digitalizing like the virtual showrooms and so on, okay, I see the car online. Would you pay $100,000 on a car because you just saw it online and you didn't get in it? It doesn't make sense. So we want to ensure that there is what we call a phygital experience. It's not an English word, by the way.
No, I like
we
it
came
though.
up, we came up with it. It's a phygital experience.
Okay.
It's connected physical or offline experience with the digital world, where, again, another point of data, I don't want a customer who spent the past 3 months deciding which car wants to buy, he or she wants to buy, ending up in a showroom, going in, and I don't know him or her. Because you go into the showroom, all what I need from you is, could I have your mobile number, please? Yeah, sure. Mr. Nicholas, welcome to the Nissan showroom. Are you still interested in the petrol, black color, blah, 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 whatever is the choice of you as a customer? And you feel that, oh my God, you know what I was interested in, and you're ready to cater for my need. If I'm an existing customer as well, when I'm parking in your place and identify through your license plate, Mr. Nicholas, happy to have you back. Are you here for your car or for a new one? This is what makes the relationship, the human interaction. And you cater to the logic and the emotion. And that's a big belief.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it sounds as well like you started on this journey with Nissan, with your guidance as well, I think ahead of the curve.
Thank God,
like
yes.
Right? Yeah,
yes.
Which is a nice place to find yourself.
That I can say proudly, yes, we are. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like you find yourself good because now you can start to, and I mean capitalize in terms of strengthening that relationship with customers because you've done all the hard work, which I know some brands are scrambling to do now, which it's not a nice feeling to be late to the party, but it sounds like you were kind of early adopters or early pioneers on that side.
Thank you.
So it's very impressive what you've done so far.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Hossam, for coming to this podcast with
pleasure.
us. Yeah, and
it's been a pleasure.
So nice to hear of all the things that you've done and that you're doing, and it's also really get the strong feeling that you don't feel like you're done anywhere.
Oh, never.
Time soon.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. In this world, we need to keep on pushing, and ensure that the word of mouth that you hear all around is positive. And as I said, the brand value is what drives sales and service and whatever it is. So we keep on pushing the brand, we keep on doing that, and everything will trickle down. But thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed the talk with you, and it's a very close topic to my heart, not because it's what I work. As I told you at the beginning, I grew up on love of that. Sure. So I'm very happy that we had this chat, and for sure we'll keep on chatting about it in the future. Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you
so much.